going to talk about corn heads and preseason adjustments and when we get it hooked up here. We've got a 4408 corn head, and we're going to start up front with our faceplate angle, which dictates the angle at which our deck plates are in relationship to the ground. This is going to tell us how good of a job it's going to do with the corn stalks, pulling them through, and most of the time we find that the machine will work better or best rocked all the way backwards. This gives us less of a harsh angle of attack, and if we do have trouble with butt shelling or some other things and we need to change that angle, we can do that by adjusting the faceplate. This machine has a hydraulically adjustable faceplate which can be controlled from in the cab on the go. If you have a manual adjustable faceplate, then you would have to disconnect the header, loosen the hardware, adjust the faceplate, and then reinstall the header and recheck your angle. Our deck plates, it's very important that they do the best they can do. We want to check them out for wear. We want a nice smooth edge. We also need to check the spacing between the deck plates. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to close them down as tight as they'll go. And we're going to set that per the specs that we find in the operator's manual. After that's done, we'll see in a minute how we can adjust our indicator to represent that spacing. After we get our faceplate adjusted properly and we're happy with our deck plate arrangement, we're going to come over here then and we can check our snout. We're going to adjust these so that all these are in a straight line from one end of the header to the other. We're going to set our end divider points slightly higher than all those that we find in the center to keep them with a good reference angle to the ground. After we set our deck plate angle at the front, we're going to close those hydraulically and then come around to the back side of the header. Here we're going to find the indicator that shows the operator in the cab what position the deck plates are in. So we want to adjust this after we know that our deck plates are correct in the front, so that it is representative reading of what we're actually doing in the front.
When we check out our row units for preseason use, first thing we want to look at is the stalk roller knives. We want to make sure that they come up really close to each other when they come around. That gives us a good grab on the stalk when it goes through. We'll make sure that it's even from the front to the back. Also, what we want to do is come to the front and check out the roller bearing in the very front, make sure it's good and tight. There's also a grease fitting that we need to check at the beginning of the day.
Up here at the row unit, we're going to check the gathering chains for tension. We're going to look at in the season, we're going to check to make sure that they stay oiled and lubricated and that this tensioning mechanism stays free and is not bound up, allowing this chain to tension properly. In the postseason, what we're going to want to do is clean out this entire area of any crop buildup, get all this freed up, make sure it's free. We're going to slip these chains off, and if the chains are going to be used again next season, if they're within range, they're not completely worn out, what we want to do is maybe toss those in a bucket with some oil or some diesel fuel. That way they can be well lubricated and not frozen up for the following season. That'll also help with our chain tensioners to not get bound up over the winter setting up on the header. We're also going to check the oil level in our row unit gearboxes. We're going to check all of those, and we're also going to inspect the gearboxes for leaks underneath.
Before the season starts, we want to check our row unit drive chain. We want to check the oil level and the tensioner behind this cover. And then we want to come around here and open this door and we check the drive chain and the tensioner for the auger. We also want to make sure there's no debris stuck in here on a daily basis. After that, we're going to inspect our PTO shaft, making sure that we grease both the U-joint here, the U-joint here, and the slip joint. Then we come over here to our hydraulic connector. We're going to check the hydraulic connections down here, make sure there's no leaks, and we want to keep this area right here free of dirt so nothing gets in there and binds those couplers, as well as the electrical connector here to make sure we don't get any dirt in there to push the pins out. All right, moving in the front of the corn head, we need to make sure that our auger is level from left to right and it's at the proper height above the floor pan. We can take a look at the floor pan, make sure there's no wear spots or cracks in it, as well as looking at the back stripper plate of the auger.